Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I had a bit of a bad day really. Yesterday I had a nice win in the afternoon, but I was lucky really because he was pressing. I was playing German player, and then this morning I my opponent outplayed me in the opening. I think I didn't play the opening very well, and well, I mean, basically the line he played was equal. I couldn't get an advantage. She's not the first person to find when they play against a Grunfeld, it's very hard to beat. It's one of the reasons I played a Grunfeld myself. And in the afternoon, very interesting game. So actually in the morning, he did offer me a draw at some point, but I played on because I don't like these wet draws. I've been taking too many wet draws lately. But later on, I offered a draw back. He actually declined in the opposite colour bishop ending because he's slightly better. Well, he's a pawn up, but it's a draw. But actually, I was a bit concerned before that I might have lost because he was when he had the two bishops against his bishop and knight. If he plays around a bit there, it gets quite awkward. Like at some point, he could go bishop d6, and I was worried about this, like g5, which was his original intention. Anyway, I drew that game. Then in the afternoon, playing against Soham La Hoya, who is being trained by Luke McShane. He comes from a very rich Asian family. Soham does, not Luke McShane. He comes from Clapham. And he's the son of a journalist called Rod McShane, who sadly is no longer with us. Very nice guy, actually, Rod. It was quite a nice guy. The first part of my career sort of was always quite encouraging. Anyway, I played against Soham, and at some point, I played a Scheveningen in the opening, which I've written a book on. And the problem is he played his Keres attack line, which is the most dangerous line against the Scheveningen. And it's a reason why top players don't really play it that often. I think one of the players who plays it maybe Duda. But generally, people don't play it. It's not very good after they go g4. So don't buy my book, whatever you do. But when it comes out, it's probably quite a good book in a way. But the problem is the opening, you can't play it anymore. So I played this line with a6, which is a risky line. And if they go, I think there are lots of ways that white can get a huge position. Because I'm allowing these pawn storms very early in the game. But he didn't quite play the right way. And at some moment, actually, I was doing okay. But then apparently I blundered with this bishop e7. Allowed this amazing win. So there's an amazing win where you can go knight f5 and queen c3. But neither of us saw that in the game. I did see the vague ideas of knight f5. He went f5, which is very thematic. I castled. And then he had a forced, very strong line there. He could have gone f6. The idea is if you move the bishop to d6, take on g7, you get a clearly better position because my king's quite exposed. So I think he rejected f6 because of gf6, bishop f6. But then white goes rook g1, king h8, and bishop takes h7, and I'm completely dead because if I take on h7, you go queen e2, threatening queen h5. So computer already gives like +8. Obviously, after f6, I would have had to go bishop d6. Anyway, he didn't play that. He actually played, he took on e6, which was not a bad option either, but nowhere near as good as f6. So I took back, and then we got this very unclear position where I felt I was doing okay. I felt comfortable. I slightly miscalculated one moment. I should have gone rook fd8 because my rook was already on c8. I didn't want to move the rook from c8, but there was a specific reason. I wasn't happy after queen g6 with a position, but apparently it's equal anyway. The computer says equal after queen g6. After if I'd have gone rook fd8, I went rook cd8 at some point, which was okay. He went queen g6, and then later on I play this move rook f2, and then I play this amazing move bishop f3, and I thought, yeah, I'm doing really well at this point. I thought I was winning. I was getting really excited. He went queen f7, and obviously originally I intended to take on d1, but then Yeah, this is what happens to me all the time lately, and part of the reason why I've collapsed. So I've gone from a 2573 player to somebody who is struggling to stay above 2400 now. So in this position, I allowed mate and one. So I had 25 minutes left, and I stopped calculating really. I started playing on, motion really. I took on d4 because obviously I did calculate that if he takes back, go queen c2 and his checkmate, right? So I thought his idea was to go rook c1, and it gets a bit tricky. But what I completely failed to capitalize, I don't know whether his tiredness to miss this, right? He's got a pawn on h7, he's got a queen on f7. So as soon as I leave the back rank, I'm thinking he's going to go queen e8. So I see these ideas where his queen was on h5, he goes queen e8. As soon as I went rook d4, he instantly played queen g8 checkmate. So it's very, very embarrassing. But partly fatigue, partly nerves. I can't play 2 games a day anymore. So I think in future, 1 game a day is really my max. Obviously, I'm going to see out the rest of this tournament. But I think in future, I'm just going to avoid 2 game a day tournaments because it's just too much. But yeah, my opponent's very promising. He's working full time. He's working like, well, I don't know if he's working full time, but he's obviously spent a lot of time on chess and he's improved a lot recently. So that's good. He's getting a lot of support from his family. It's all good. And he seems to be very promising. So look out for that name in the future, Soham Lahoya. I was thinking actually of people who are come from wealthy backgrounds. It's not always a help to come from a wealthy background. Sometimes it can be a hindrance. There's Maverick McNeely in the golf. There's also a tennis player who, it might be Jessica Pegula, whose family own the Buffalo Bills, and she's a very good tennis player. And she won a doubles title, maybe a doubles Grand Slam actually, or got to a final. And her family own the Buffalo Bills, so they're also very rich. So it obviously helps in a way because you can get some coaching and stuff like that, but you still got to do it. You still got to have the ability to be at that level. So he seemed like a nice kid afterwards. Yeah, we discussed again. I didn't want to do a post-mortem because I was just too depressed in shock really after allowing Queen J8. So it's the first time that's ever happened to me. So I've had a few shockers lately. I've failed to win mate in one. I failed to find my own force mate when I played in Bruges. I resigned in a drawn position. It's all comes down to the same thing where emotionally I'm somehow getting ahead of myself. I want it too much. And at some point in the game, my emotions get ahead of me and I start choking to some degree. So if I can get out of that, then I've still got some chance of doing something in chess. If I can't, then it's all going to be a failure. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please leave your comments down below. But the rest of the tournament is going to be very tough for me because I've got very tough opponents to face. And I'm obviously in a very demoralised state of mind at this point in time.